Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wal aqibatul muttaqeen was salatu was salamu ala rasulihi Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa labatihi wa ashabihi wa azwajihi ajma'een. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'een. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma anfa'ni bima 'allamtani wa 'allimni ma yanfa'uni وزدني علما والحمد لله على كل حال. أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Dear brothers and sisters, at the time of migration to Medina, in Medina there were three Jew tribes: Banu Qainuqa, Banu Nazir, Banu Quraiza. First, these tribes didn't came against Muslims openly. Their all activities were secret. But they could not bear the brotherly relationship between Ansars and Muhajirin. So now they were not shut. They started to speak against Islam openly and started provoking Ansars against Islam. After Ghazwa Badr in Shawwal 6th Hijri, problem of Banu Qainuqa occurred. Professionally they were goldsmiths and they had war weapons in huge number. Comparing other tribes, Banu Qainuqa was a brave tribe. What happened is, after Ghazwa Badr, wife of one Ansari companion went to the shop of one of Jew from Banu Qainuqa. As Banu Qainuqa had a lot of jealousy from Muslims, so they dishonored that woman of Ansar. One Muslim standing there couldn't bear this act and killed that Jew. Jews in return killed Muslim. When Rasulullah SAWW heard that, he by himself went there and said, "Fear Allah, don't do this or else you will face torment like Quraysh." They replied, "We are not Quraysh. When you will face us, we will tell you what is war. And if it is like this, then we announce war against you. God will see who is brave." Rasulullah SAWW, being forced by behaviors of Jews, marched on Banu Qainuqa and besieged them. The siege continued for 15 days and at last they said, "We will agree whatsoever Rasulullah SAWW said." Rasulullah SAWW showed mercy and said, "Carry as much stuff as you can on camels and leave Medina. You cannot live in Medina now." They carried as much as they can and left, and most of them went to Khaybar fort, which was 200 miles away from Medina at north. After Ghazwa Uhud in Rabiul Awwal 4th Hijri, problem occurred from Banu Nazir. One of the honorable person of Jew was Abu Rafi. His grandson, his daughter's son Ka'b, was a bitter enemy of Muslims. He was a big poet and used to do poetry against Islam. But he didn't stop there and started planning to kill Na'udhu Billah Rasulullah SAWW. So he once invited Rasulullah SAWW and said to few men to martyr Rasulullah when he arrived. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Rasulullah and he SAWW didn't went there. Seeing his temptation, Hazrat Muhammad bin Muslim killed him. This incident infuriated Banu Nazir. Adding this, two men of Banu Amir were killed in Nakhla and their qisas was due on Banu Nazir. Rasulullah ﷺ went there to take qisas. Banu Nazir apparently agreed but secretly planned to throw rock on Rasulullah ﷺ from roof. Because Rasulullah ﷺ was talking with them standing on the wall of upstairs. When Rasulullah ﷺ knew this, he went back to Medina at once. Banu Nazir did a lot to hurt Rasulullah ﷺ. Rasulullah at last gave them warning. "Make a treaty with us or else we will fight you." Banu Nazir were taking time and delaying this. In between, Abdullah bin Ubay said to Banu Nazir, "Fight Rasulullah. We, means Munafiqeen, and Banu Qurayza will support you." Banu Nazir became brave and announced war against Muslims. Rasulullah marched on them and besieged them. The siege continued for 15 days, same as against Banu Qainuqa. Banu Nazir waited for Abdullah bin Ubay and Banu Qurayza, but none of them came to rescue them. At last they surrendered and said, "Treat us as you treated Banu Qainuqa." Rasulullah ﷺ, because of his mercy, agreed. Banu Nazir went and settled in Khaybar too. The people of Khaybar respected chiefs of Banu Qainuqa and Banu Nazir that much that they made them their chiefs. This incident led to Ghazwa Khaybar. Now the only tribe of Jews was Banu Quraiza. At the time of Ghazwa Ahzab in Zulqa'dah 5th Hijri, this tribe betrayed Muslims. Chiefs of Banu Quraiza sitting in Khaybar gave full surety to other tribes of Jews and Arabs that fight against Muslims, and they all gathered against Muslims with 12,000 army. At the time of Battle of Trench, Quraysh with their army were blocked because of Trench. Only way to attack Medina was from southeast, where was tribe Banu Quraiza. Banu Nazir and Quraysh sent messages to chiefs of Banu Qurayza to attack Muslims, and they even started preparing. Rasulullah was well aware of this, and in Medina, Munafiqeen were playing their part. They were scaring Muslims that Banu Qurayza will attack from southeast, and first they will kill our women and children. Rasulullah ﷺ sent 2 Ansari companions to Banu Qurayza to tell them to behave, but their chiefs clearly said, "We and Muhammad ﷺ don't have any treaty." A man from Banu Qainuqa, Naim bin Masud, who had accepted Islam but secretly played a big role, that Banu Qurayza built doubts about Quraysh, and after all their betrayal, they didn't attack Muslims. Quraysh went back in the morning at the Battle of Trench, and Rasulullah ﷺ came back to Medina and was taking off his armor. Suddenly Jibreel ﷺ came and said, "O Rasulullah, you are taking off your armor, but we had not taken off our armor yet." It was command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to attack Banu Qurayza. Rasulullah ﷺ immediately called Muslims that don't take off your armor, and at once marched towards Banu Qurayza and read Salah Asr there. Rasulullah ﷺ besieged them, and siege continued for 1 month. But at last they surrendered on a condition that chief of clan Banu Aus, Sa'ad bin Mu'adh will decide about them. Syedna Sa'ad bin Mu'adh got injured because of an arrow in the Battle of Trench. He was brought in lap of companions. Sa'ad bin Mu'adh said to Banu Qurayza that I will decide for them according to their own Sharia from Torah. Syedna Sa'ad bin Mu'adh said, "All men of Banu Qurayza who are able to fight should be killed. Their women, children and other men will become war prisoners, and their all wealth, gardens, properties are now Mal Ganimat war booty." This is in Torah book Tasniya verse number 10. As decided, hundreds of men of Banu Qurayza were killed, their women and children became captives, and their wealth and properties becomes war booty. Rasulullah ﷺ said to Sayyidina Sa'ad that you made a heavenly decision, means from Torah, and this was the end of Banu Qurayza. Khaybar was a strong place of Jews in Arab. They had a lot of forts which were very strong, and people of Banu Qainuqa and Banu Nazir after their evacuation went to Khaybar, which made it even much stronger. Rasulullah ﷺ tried to make treaty with the people of Khaybar. Rasulullah sent many messages to them before Treaty of Hudaybiyah and after, but they didn't back off from their acts. They used to attack small towns outside of Medina, loot them, kill them. At last, Rasulullah ﷺ decided to finish Jews and marched to Khaybar in Zulhijjah 6th Hijri. But war of Khaybar happened in the start of 7th Hijri. Khaybar had a lot of strong forts, and all of them were captured one by one, but with intense fight. The last strongest fort, Qamus, had made a lot of difficulties for Muslims. Sayyidina Abu Bakr and Sayyidina Umar marched on Fort Qamus but couldn't capture it. At last, Rasulullah ﷺ said, "Tomorrow I will give my flag to one who will conquer this fort, and he loves Allah and His Messenger, and Allah and His Messenger loves him." Everyone in the morning were waiting to get flag from Rasulullah, as this was a big honor. Rasulullah ﷺ asked, "Where is Ali?" Syedna Ali RA was ill at that time. His eyes were sick. Rasulullah said to bring Syedna Ali. Syedna Ali were brought. Rasulullah rubbed his hand over Syedna Ali's eyes, and with will of Allah, Syedna Ali's eyes healed. Syedna Ali RA forwarded with Muslims to Fort Qamus, holding flag of Rasulullah ﷺ, and conquered it. Many Jew warriors were killed, and they all surrendered. After conquest, whole place was in possession of Muslims, but at the request of the Jews, they were allowed to remain in their position with the condition that they would pay half of the produce to Muslims. When the harvest time came, Rasulullah ﷺ would send one of his companions who would come and divide the grain into 2 equal shares, and tell the Jews that you have the right to choose. Take whatever share you want. The Jews were amazed at this justice, and used to say that the earth and heaven are based on such justice. So dear brothers and sisters, this is for today's video. We'll come back with the next video on this series, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this from me and you and grant us to understand it, act on it, and stand firm on it. Ameen. Fi amanillah.